Good morning. Today is October 9th, 2024. And if you're new here, my name is Monica, a.k.a. AstroMommy. I'm a Western fusion astrologer, and I deliver the horoscope every single Monday through Friday. I also have been making horary chart example videos on this channel. I love horary astrology, and I plan on bringing more of those to you. Let's go ahead and get into the astrology. I forgot to put my microphone in my ear. Okay. Here we go. All right. I'm going to go ahead and minimize my screen so we can take a look at the chart for the day. Okay. So today we have the sun still in Libra at 16 degrees, 27 minutes. The moon is still in Sagittarius early this morning, but she will be moving into Capricorn. We also have Pluto right here at 29 degrees Capricorn, 38 minutes, about to station direct on the 11th, which is Friday of this week. Today, Jupiter is stationing retrograde. Now that we've gotten our bearings with a few things, let's go through the transits for today. Early this morning at 1:53 a.m., the moon in Sagittarius perfected a square to Neptune. So we can see that here, moon in Sagittarius in square to Neptune. This definitely could mean that we are having some place in our life that we can't see clearly. We could be feeling deceived in some way, or dealing with just foggy thinking, brain fog, or just feeling out of sorts and we're not quite sure why, that there's some part of something in our lives that we are having trouble seeing. Now, the moon represents our emotions, what comes to be and passes away, the goings on in our daily life, our circumstances, and our daily habits and routines. And Neptune represents things in a fog, spirituality, compassion, music, and artistic endeavors of all kinds. So when the moon has a square to Neptune, something feels amiss. We can't quite see something happening. Or we could also experience lies, deceptions, or some sort of untruthfulness that occurs. So hopefully, since this happened at 1:53 a.m. Eastern Time, this could maybe just have colored your dreams in some way. Moving on to 3:04 a.m., that's when we're going to see Jupiter station retrograde. Now, as I was talking about in yesterday's horoscope, this retrograde period of Jupiter is going to have a lot to do with the Jupiter square Saturn major turning point in all of our plot lines that we are going through. So over the summer, mid-August, Jupiter made his first square to Saturn. In this series of squares, there's going to be two more. One, I believe, is the next one is on December 24th, 2024, so Christmas Eve. And then following that, the next one is when Saturn has moved into Aries and Jupiter has moved into Cancer. So that one's going to be over the summer of 2025. So the next 8 months or so, we're going to be going through this process of change. There's going to be a change to our plot lines, to our directions, to what we're doing. Some big shift is happening. So this could be a job change, it could be moving house, it could be, welcoming in a new baby or somebody new into the family. Something that's really, really big that represents a big turning point where you look back in your memory and you think, oh, that was the year that I, moved, that was the year that I decided I was going to homeschool my children, or that was the year that, such and such, had their baby or something. There's some sort of big change that shows a big chapter shift. And that is going on. So now during the retrograde cycle of Jupiter's retrograde, this is when I believe we're going to be actually implementing the beginnings of those changes. We're going to actually start to go back. We've made our decision. We've figured out what it is that we're doing, and we're going back and implementing the changes. So Jupiter is going to be retrograde from October 9th until he stations direct on February 4th, 2025. Okay? And then he'll be entering Cancer on June 9th, 2025. So this is a long cycle. So we've got October to February during the retrograde, and that's when we're really going to be implementing a lot of these changes. All right. Then the moon at 5:38 a.m. will enter Capricorn. The moon's going to be leaving Sagittarius, the fiery, hopeful, optimistic sign of Sagittarius, and entering Capricorn, the moon's detriment. So I feel like this represents that over the next couple of days, so Wednesday, Thursday, and then a little bit of Friday, because the moon will be leaving Capricorn on Friday and entering Aquarius, we could see ourselves getting really into putting our head down and doing the work that we need to do. Whenever the moon is in Capricorn, it's always a time to take initiative to get your work done. We're going to be managing our businesses, managing our home lives, managing our own finances. You know, it's a time to manage and consolidate your resources. Pay attention to, the foundations that you have in life, the structures that you have in life, and maintain them and do what you need to do to keep them in good condition. We're going to use that Capricorn moon energy to get stuff done in an organized, precise way. Then in the afternoon at 3:37 p.m., the moon will be making a semi-square to Venus. What this means is that there are things that we want to do, that we want to bring into our lives, or that we feel lots of joy and pleasure doing, but there's some delays in that. We can't quite bring it to fruition today. So there could be some setbacks. This could have to do with relationship stuff because Venus rules our relationships, or it could have to do with something financial or some sort of financial investment or something you've been putting a lot of creative energy into that you now have to wait a little bit. So, this is just not an aspect that's really good for things actually manifesting. So just, take it in stride, be patient, try to relax and not obsess over it, right? And finally, in the evening, the moon will square the nodes. So I'm going to go ahead and just advance the chart here so we can see that happening. Should be about, here we go, let's see. Yeah, okay. At 5:56 p.m., the moon in Capricorn will square the nodes. So we can see that here. The moon is in square to both nodes, and she's at what is called this southern bending. And what this means is that we could be going through an internal situation where we are experiencing something manifesting, but it's on a private, it's in a private space, or we're feeling it inside of ourselves rather than in an outward expression with others involved or with the support of others. This is really more of something that we're doing on the inside. There's a change, or we are hitting a certain threshold or a certain milestone, but it's a private thing that we're not really sharing with others. But when the moon does square the nodes, you can always be guaranteed that something will happen in your life and things will manifest in a certain way. But this is going to be more of a private manifestation, something you're probably not going to share with a lot of people except for maybe your close loved ones. All right, so let's move on to the card for Wednesday. So we've got Jupiter stationing retrograde and the moon squaring the nodes from the southern bending. All right, so we have the Six of Discs, otherwise known as the Six of Pentacles. And so on this card, you can see that there's one woman who is giving a massage to another woman. She is extending her gifts of being able to massage and comfort the other woman and applying that effort to the other woman. And the other woman is receiving this beautiful massage. So we have one person who is giving and one person who is receiving. The Six of Discs is about that, giving and receiving. So one person is taking their gifts and their resources, which in this case is this woman with her skills of massage, and giving that to another person. And the other person is receiving that and allowing those gifts to wash over them and to feel relaxed from the effort applied by the other person to soothe them in some way. This card is also known as the charity card. One person is giving to another because of charity for some reason. So there could be a situation today where you are, either on the giving end and you are giving something to someone else, one of your resources, one of your gifts, or something that you have to share, or you could be on the receiving end and you are receiving resources or gifts from others or support in some way. So I love to see this card in the upright position. I feel like it's a really beautiful depiction of exchange. And it's also a good reminder that whatever you're receiving or whatever you're giving, whatever as they say, whatever you put out into the world, that's what you're going to receive back, right? So it's keeping that kind of sentiment in mind and purposely putting out good energy that is supportive of others, compassionate for their pain or suffering that they're going through, and being kind and generous on either end. And then if you are the receiver, that's being grateful and thankful for the blessings and the aid and the support that you're receiving. So I think this is a really wonderful card for the day, especially since Jupiter is stationing retrograde. So this, you guys, this really means to me that while Jupiter has been direct, whatever you've been putting out into the world, it's now time to receive back that same energy exchange. So if you've been putting out wonderful things, then you can expect to receive wonderful things as Jupiter goes back to bring back those rewards. I think that that's really, really beautiful. And if you've been on the receiving end and you've been gracious and thankful and feeling gratitude deep in your heart for all of those things that you've received, then now it's going to be your turn to give back over this next Jupiter retrograde period. So I feel like this is really beautiful with the giving and receiving and giving with Jupiter direct and Jupiter going retrograde. So whatever you've been putting out into the world, it's about to come back to you. So hopefully you're excited about that. I'm excited about that. I'm ready for some Jupiter rewards. I love that. Love Jupiter rewards. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Until tomorrow, AstroMommy.